Good morning, everybody. We are in the shop and there is a CNC plasma table in these boxes right here, along with an actual plasma cutter. So in this episode today, we are going to put this thing together and hopefully we'll fire it up and make something. Okay, so this right here is a Langmuir Systems Crossfire. So this is their smallest table. I can't remember how big it is, but I also got the expansion kit for it. So here's Crossfire. This box says Crossfire XL. This is an expansion kit for it to make it slightly bigger. And then this is the water table trough, or whatever you would call it. There's that. So that's our water table trough. That's what I'm calling it, a trough. So I haven't opened any of this stuff yet. So I'm gonna be going through this with you guys here, so you can see how this thing comes and what it takes to put it together. So this says water table hardware. Okay, so we got some hardware in here. But let's just put this aside for now. We're not even to this point yet. But just know we do have a water table for this thing. So let's start off with the big box here. Man, staples work pretty good. Oh no, we got packing peanuts. Those are my favorite. Alright. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all these parts out and lay them on the ground, and then we'll start figuring out what the next step is. Alright, so I'm at this point where I got everything unboxed for the most part. Some of these bags, I wanted to show you guys, they did an incredible job packing this. You know, some things you get in the boxes are just so screwed by the time UPS or the Post or FedEx or whoever gets a hold of them, they just screw everything up. But this thing was packaged super well, nothing's messed up. The bags are like this. See, they're labeled, got all your bolts in there. Got a miscellaneous, got one for cross, one just for washers, you got one for torch firing, you got all this stuff. It's laid out quite nicely. So here's what we got. Nice stuff, very nice, everything's nice. Here's the motors. This is the expansion kit right here, these two pieces. And then that came with instructions. With paper instructions. So I don't know if it was supposed to come with paper instructions or not, but it did not. But they have it all online, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to follow along on my phone, putting this thing together. Just going to time lapse it because it's not like I'm a professional here. If you buy one of these things, you go through the instructions yourself. But I'm going to go ahead and just put this thing together. It doesn't look too terribly complicated, but there are a lot of bits here. One of the things I wanted to show you was this cool thing here, where the tube goes through. It's got these cool anodized aluminum bits, and it's got all these roller bearings. It's got, what is that, 8 roller bearings there. Same on the other side, pretty sweet. And then this guy here. But, you know, I'm just gonna get it together and then we can take a look at it and figure out what's next, because that's just part of the battle, getting this thing together. After that, there's, you know, installing software and all this stuff. This is, you know, a little computer unit. I'm not that great with computers and things like that, so we'll see how somebody like me can handle putting this thing together and actually starting it up and making it work. So I'm gonna get to it. Alright, so it's the next day. You know, I got this whole thing assembled. Well, actually, it took me 2 days to get it assembled, and now we're on the 3rd day here. This is the first time that I'm moving the machine. I had to go out and buy a cheap laptop just to run this. This thing was 200 bucks. So let's see here. I'm moving the x-axis back and forth right now. I have to move it all the way out to the end actually, so that I can tighten up the little nuts that hold the screw. And then let's try the Y for the first time. There we go. I still gotta do some wire management. So that's all looking really good. Same here, I gotta tighten up this little nut right here, these little plastic things that that the screw rides in, and this is actually what moves it back and forth. They want you to kind of run it and get it centered, I guess. I don't know, it doesn't seem like it wants to do much, but I'm gonna run it back and forth, and then that one's good. I need to go tighten that one. What happens if I do this? Holy moly, it's moving. See if it goes. Bam. Okay, this is just the step in the process. You know, I had to get the software, put it on the computer, and we still have more to do. Like I said, I got to do some cable management. This plug actually controls the plasma cutter, so I actually have to get into the plasma cutter, figure out which wires trigger run the trigger of the plasma cutter to turn it on, and hook these into there basically to show it to turn it on. So I haven't even opened that yet. That's probably coming up next, but I'm just finalizing all the steps of getting the machine set up. All right, now that we got this thing together, let me talk about, I didn't tell you guys the specs on this, on what I've got here and what it cuts, because you know I didn't know in the beginning of the video. But so this is the Langmuir Systems Crossfire. It comes as a table that you can cut 25.3 by 23.3. But I added the XL kit, which is these two rails here, and it comes with a new rod here, a longer rod here, and that makes it cut 25.3 by 33.3. So it gives you an extra 10 inches in this way. So what the other upgrades I got is this water table. So this water table is another upgrade here. It's I believe it looks like stainless steel, and it bolts down real easy. It's got a drain on the bottom. So we got a water table upgrade, we got the XL upgrade, and then we got the limit switch upgrade. From the factory, the basic one doesn't come with switches to tell it where 0 is. I think you have to like manually put in where 0 is. But right here and here, you add these two switches, and you plug them in, and you change some stuff inside the computer box there, and then now it actually knows where 0 is. So that's an upgrade as well. So now that we got that out of the way, we need to tear into, and I'll have a link to this table and all that stuff. You'll see all the upgrades in there. If you go in there and you look at pricing one out, you'll see the upgrades. There's a couple more upgrades you can get. There's a laptop stand, which I'm kind of slightly regretting that I didn't get. And then, what's the last thing? Oh, there's a Z-axis. A Z-axis, yeah. So the head where the torch is can actually move up and down. But that add-on is like $500. It's the biggest upgrade that you can get. And I may get it in the future, but for now I opted out of it just to keep the table a little more reasonably priced. I really wanted the water table, you know, to keep the sparks contained and keep the mess as a minimum. And also they highly recommend it, especially if you have the XL kit for some reason. So that's that. The next thing is, here is our plasma cutter. So this came from Prime Weld, which is an Amazon store. I don't know if they have a store off of Amazon, but I bought this on Amazon. I believe it was Black Friday, so there was a deal on it. And I went through all of the comments and reviews and things, and had a ton of good reviews, and people said that they used it for their CNC tables. So I said, okay, you know, that's what we're gonna get. So let's break this open and I'll tell you guys about it, because I honestly forget what it is. I believe it's a 50 amp. Oh, it's a 60. So we got a prime cut 60. That's actually a lot for this table, but I wanted this option in case I needed to cut like 3/8 or something really thick. I probably went way overboard on this. I think you can get away with a 45 amp for most things. I think I wanted to get like a 50 amp, but this is just what worked out that I could afford. And let's break this thing open and see what we got. And there it is. So you got the Prime Weld Cut 60. So there's our machine. You know, one thing I didn't think about is we need a good air supply for this, and we don't have the air compressor hooked up yet. So I guess we're gonna have to temporarily hook up our air compressor because we can't cut anything without that. So that's gonna be another step I have to do before I can actually cut anything on this table. But we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna finish the setup of the table and get this thing all plumbed in. We gotta run that, we gotta run the trigger wires for that, and then just get this thing all set up. And then I guess I gotta finish up my air compressor install and run some temporary air lines so that we can actually cut something with this. All right, what else we got in here? Not as much stuff in here as I thought there would be. Pretty simple. So we got some tips. We got a tip, we got a gun. So we got our machine connector here. Connect to the machine. And then we got our nozzle and our torch. And we got a fair amount of cable here. All right, got that guy going in there. And then we should have a ground clamp, and I think that'll be probably about it for this. Nothing else in there. Okay. All right, what do we got here? So we got our ground clamp here. That's important. We definitely need that. I might have to get a cart just for this thing. I don't know. Okay, so ground clamp and cable, torch. It's got an adapter to run 110. So you're gonna have to turn this thing way down if you're gonna wanna run that, but that is an option there. And then we have one more thing in here. What is this? Is this what is this for? Interesting. It's a little wire connection. I'm not sure what it's for, but maybe it's for the CNC stuff. So there's our air pressure adjuster, there's our voltage, post flows, set air. Okay. Is this on the back side? Oh yeah, CNC. Oh, so this actually has a CNC plug. So this guy, I'm assuming, it goes on the back side here, plugs in, and then you can run your wires into here. Yeah, so I gotta go in and I gotta look at the wiring. I'm sure the wiring diagram is gonna tell me what I need to plug into in here to make this CNC port work. I'm gonna go ahead and read some instructions, and then we'll get to work on doing the rest of this setup, getting this torch set up, getting that air compressor set up, and then we should be ready to cut something. Hopefully sometime in the near future. All right, so next, another day in here, and I'm still working on getting everything going. I got my air compressor hooked up over here. It's not bolted down, but it's hooked up. And then I got the line running over here to the regulator and filters. So we got all that. And we got a line that's, you know, temporary. So we got our air. We got our air problem solved. Next problem is triggering the machine, or triggering the plasma cutter torch, which that's what this CNC port on the back of it's for, and it gives you this little thing, and it's got all these plugs, and it tells you what each one does. We only need 2 of them, but it has a bunch more for different things, but we don't need them. So 2 of those I got soldered onto here. I gotta finish putting this plug together. That's gonna plug into the back of the machine. This is going to plug into our Langmuir computer on the side of the CNC table. And then we're getting really close to actually being able to cut something. So I'm going to get that finished up. We're going to get that hooked up, and then we'll get everything in position, and we'll start going through and actually see if we can cut something. We're making really good progress. We're almost ready to cut something. I got this set up here. What I got going on over here is, I have some laundry detergent, and I got my wife's pH testing strips for her fish tank. So what I'm doing is the water that goes in the table, if you boost it up to a pH past 9, it doesn't rust. So it won't rust the slats in the table. So that's what I'm doing. I'm here with my a breaker bar, stirring around some laundry detergent in a bucket. But I've already tested it. We're up past the 9. I put like not even a cup of this in here, and that's probably about 4 gallons or so. I don't even know how much water this is going to take. So we're going to pour this in here soon. And I wanted to show you guys that I got the table completely kind of figured out. I got the limit switches in the right place. I had one over there in the wrong place. And let me show you guys. Jog that thing out like that. Jog this one. Jog this one out. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to send this thing home, and that should bring it all the way back to this corner. And it's telling me it's going to home. There we go. So it should come back over to here, hit this switch and stop, and then come over here, hit this switch and stop, and that's, tells it where the corner of the table is. Just like that. So that's an option. I was trying to tell you guys that this is an option. You can add to the table. Normally, I think you would just have to manually put the torch where you want it to start. I don't even know if I really needed this, but it's a cool option. It's nice to have. The machine or the software now knows like the whole cutting surface of the table, which it wouldn't really know before or without those switches. So that's a positive. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to dump this in the table. Hopefully that's enough to fill it up. I got to look how much we got to fill it up. I think you want to fill it up to like 3/4 of the way here, something like that. But I'm going to look that up and make sure. And then we're going to dump this water in. And we'll put a plate on here. And we'll load a part that I designed for mini bike swing arm kit. Just a little tab. And we will attempt to cut that out. Alright, well I guess that's not enough. I wanted to get it up probably within like 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch of the top of the slat, so we can pretty much double that, I guess. I don't know, I hope that's not too much. Alright, bucket number 2. Alright, water table's full. That's about 1/4 inch from the top of the slats. I think that's perfect. Okay, so we got a piece of metal over here. Alright, so now I got to go ahead and load in my part, and then I'm going to try and cut it right in here somewhere because this is kind of almost sacrificial because of some of the cuts that are already in here. If you see all this dross on here, these chunks, this is from when it was cut with a torch. So it should be a lot cleaner with the plasma. So I'll get back with you guys as soon as I have that loaded in, and we're gonna attempt to cut something. All right, everything's on. It's gonna be loud when it starts because of the air and stuff, but I don't know what's gonna happen. We're just gonna try it. Okay, that was a dry run. I gotta turn that off. Okay, so our dry run is good. Let's start this thing and see what happens. Let me grab my little shield. I don't know how to practice. Okay. Dang, we all the way through, it looks like. Here's what we got. We got our first part here. Got a little bit of something on the edge here, but I gotta work out, I'm not sure. The hole looks pretty good, except for it's got more chamfer than I was hoping. Like, see, if you look on this side, the hole is bigger than on this side. So that's kind of a natural thing for these plasma cutters to do. What I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna get the tip a little bit closer to the workpiece, and I'm turning up the settings a little bit, adjusting the settings, but it looks really good other than for this part. And this is what was hanging on, keeping it. So I'm not sure why it did that, but we're gonna try again and see what happens. Start. Okay, that was much better actually. Torch closer, much better. We still have this little little guy here where it's hanging on, so I might have to work on that and my programming to make sure that that gets cut. Let's see. Look at the other one. So yeah, I mean a much smaller spot hanging on this time than last time, and I'm not sure 100% why that is, but. And then our hole is a little bit straighter. Our angled kerf isn't as bad. So look at that, we got parts. I have cut things out. That is awesome. Let me turn this thing off. All right, well, I think that's gonna be it for today, for this video. We finally, I mean, it took me like 4 or 5 days, I think, to get this to this point where I could actually cut something out. I mean, there were some challenges, like I actually had to hook my air compressor up, so that took some time, you know, and putting this whole thing together and figuring out the software and doing some studying up on programming through, I use Fusion 360 to do my CAD programming, and then you have to change that over into CAM or something and make a program, so I had to learn all that stuff. So not too bad. I still got a lot to learn. And there's a lot more we can do with this for sure. And look at that, we have parts, you know? I mean, that's pretty awesome. And this is pretty thick stuff. I ordered some tips to do some thinner stuff. I don't have those yet. I thought that these might actually be too much even for cutting this stuff out, but it seems like it worked perfectly, that tip. So, I mean, I can try with a smaller tip and maybe it'll make a better cut or something. But yeah, I'm super happy with this. I'm super happy to have this tool in my shop. It's amazing, you know, it's a freaking robot. So we'll be using this a lot in the future to make parts for all kinds of stuff. And now we don't have to go online and order tabs from places or make them by hand. So that's a big plus. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Please smash that like button for me. Please hit the subscribe. Hit the bell if you want to get notified of future videos coming out from DJ's Hot Rod and Fab. We got lots of projects coming your way. Like I said, I'm super happy to have this tool here. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.